so we're going to go over chair yoga. So some of the benefits to chair yoga is that it can be done almost anywhere that there's a chair. So like people in offices, that might be like if you decide you want to do corporate yoga, you know, you're coming into people's offices and getting them to move around because they're sitting. Kids, you know, you could do, you know, some yoga in chairs. Might, you know, shorter. I don't think you'd be able to do a full hour with kids, but just seated anyway, if you could move them around. And you can do some standing stuff. I'll show you that too. But another benefit is it reduces stress. It improves strength and flexibility. Oh my gosh, if I had $1 for every time I heard, I can't go to yoga because I'm not flexible. Oh my gosh. Anyway, chair yoga is easier on joints because we're not doing as much body weight there, you know. So it's easier on the joints. So, you know, like people of all ages can do chair yoga. People who might be rehabbing from a surgery or an injury, chair yoga might be a good option for them. People who have a hard time getting down on the floor or getting back up from the floor, chair yoga is good for those people. It can be utilized by people with injuries, limited mobility, people who are unable to get, oh yeah, I'm repeating myself now. Okay, so population, possible venues, you know, nursing homes, assisted living, physical therapy places, rehab places, hospitals, again, corporate yoga, so people in workplaces, you know, so there's lots of different, you know, the why, if your community has a why, but those kind of places. Anytime you are seeking safety, alignment, healing, deepening, challenge, creativity, and possibilities for your teaching, for your students, and for yourself, think of using a prop. Props are awesome. And again, you know, you can do chair yoga without props. So if you do go to places where you don't have props, it can be done. But it's always nice to have them if you can. So we're going to go through a little bit of a sequence, but do it in a teachy way. So first you might have them start seated, you know, to get centered, to set their intention, to do some breath awareness. Now, sometimes I might even bring in the blocks underneath the feet and have them seated like this. This just helps to bring props, blocks especially, help to bring the floor closer to you. So again, here now my knees are more aligned with my hips instead of, you know, I might have better circulation. Okay. So then we would do some warm-ups, linking the breath with the movement, or the movement with the breath, I should say. So some seated cat-cows, we would place the hands on the quadriceps, and inhales would press the belly and the chest forward, maybe lift the crown, lift the chin, and then exhale, round through the spine, bring the shoulders towards the ears, the chin towards the chest, empty the breath completely, inhale, pressing the belly and the chest forward, lifting the head and the crown, drawing the shoulders back, and then exhale, rounding through the spine, shoulders towards the ears, chin towards the chest, emptying out that breath. So that's seated cat-cows. Some arm vinyasas might be inhaling the arms up, exhaling hands to heart, inhaling the arms up, exhaling hands to heart. Just moving at the pace of their own breath here. There is a heart-opening arm vinyasa that you can do. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, you press the palms out in front of you. Exhale, take the arms wide. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So that's another arm vinyasa that you could do. Wrist exercises. So now we start to pay attention to some more of the details, the smaller things, the the subtle things. So wrist, take the arm out long, make sure the arm is straight. You know, first we might press the fingers back for a few breaths, and then press the back of the hand for a few breaths. We would do that on the other side. Of course, keep the arm long, you know, a few breaths on each. And then we might make some wrist circles at the wrist joint. Circle back in the opposite direction. You can even interlace the fingers and make waves here for the wrist. Finger stretches, bringing the hands together, you know, pressing like the index finger, the right index finger into the left index finger, and then the left into the right. So we're really stretching each individual finger, going through the middle finger on both sides, the ring finger on both sides. Trying to keep the other finger straight if we can. The pinky on both sides, the thumbs. Let's see, yep. And then hand massages, you know, a lot of times we don't take the time to slow down and self-care. So this is always a good time to incorporate that for especially people who are working at desks and they are, you know, on computers a lot, you know, making them slow down and take the time to actually give themselves a hand massage. There is one little exercise sometimes I'll have people do, and that is to look over the right shoulder and kind of find your range of motion, like where is your edge? And then I would have them, because there's this line, the fascia that runs up, I would have them rub and massage the thumb on that side of the neck that we looked at, especially the fatty part of the thumb. And then after rubbing that thumb and the fatty part of the thumb, then I would have them come up and rub the ear, that right ear. And like all the way around, like the front of the ear lobe, and then even back behind the ear, where the ear kind of meets the head. And then after spending some time rubbing that thumb and that ear, and then I'd have them look again and they would notice that they increase their range of motion. So that's always a fun little trick that you can do with people. So another thing is neck stretches, you know, like from side to side. You know, of course you'd want to maybe take up to one side, hold for 3 to 5 breaths, do the other side, 3 to 5 breaths. You know, maybe the chin to the chest, maybe the chin towards the sky to increase the strength of the muscles in the neck. And then, you know, maybe even giving a neck and shoulder massage to themselves. So like having them rub their neck a little bit, maybe their shoulders, you know, just again, taking that time to encourage them to self-care and to do these kind of nice little things for themselves. Nose circles. So back in the 80s, people had these like crazy neck things that they would do, and it's not good for the cervical spine. So when you have people doing like these neck circles and stuff, it's not great. What we want to do is bring awareness to the tip of the nose and just make circles here. And you can start out small and you can go to big circles, but we're just making circles with the nose. We're not making circles with the whole neck. And then maybe you want to circle back in the opposite direction, that kind of thing. Eye movements, to make the eyes stronger, you might do like hard right, hard left, look up at the ceiling, look down, you know, and just have them make like these circular motions and then maybe circle back, so hard left, up, down, you know, high up, and then hard right, and then down, you know, doing those kinds of things. Ankle circles, you know, so you might take the right leg and extend it out in front of you, make circles, and then circle back in the opposite direction, and then do that with the left leg. We're just paying attention to some of these smaller details of the body. One thing that I'll usually do is have them do foot massages. A lot of times, ideally, have them take their socks off, and then place a finger in between each toe. What that does is it breaks up the fascia in the feet, and a lot of times it's painful for people, especially if they haven't done anything like this in a long time, or if they have a lot of scar tissue or fascia built up, tight connective tissue. And you can tell them, yeah, that might be a little painful, but it'll get easier the more you do it. But once you have your fingers interwoven in between the toes, then you might go like back and forth a little bit, or make waves and circles, just to kind of think about breaking up that fascia and just creating more of a pliable, malleable, lucidness to it, right? Instead of it being hard and tense. So then after doing that, after breaking up the fascia here, I might have them give themselves a little foot massage. And again, maybe with the feet, with the fingers in between the toes, you might get some extension and flexion in the ankle joint, and here you might do your ankle circles. That's always a good time to just do it all with the foot, right? And then while they're here, this is a nice little pose. I might have them bring blocks in front of them. With the foot on the lap like this, inhale the arms up, get some extension in the spine, and then hinge from the hips, bring the hands to the blocks. So this is a really great pose for sciatica, so people who are suffering with sciatic pain or issues, then you would take a couple deep breaths here. And then of course you do that on the other side. So you might break up the fascia and the toes, put the fingers in between the toes, wiggle them back and forth, maybe circles, maybe get some extension, flexion in the ankle joint, maybe some circles, then massage the foot, and then again, do this on the other side too, for the left hip, the left side. One of the things too, I didn't bring any tennis balls with me, but for the feet, having them roll tennis balls on the feet. So if you have a bag of tennis balls that you want to take with you to chair yoga, throw them out to your people and then have them do this, and tell them, do it at home, roll the feet, helps to break up the fascia. The more we take, people end up with plantar fasciitis, and the more that we do these kinds of things for the feet, the chances of preventing that are greater. So side bends are one thing that you can do. So I always like to maybe scoot to the edge of the seat a little bit and then have them bring their right hand to the outside of the chair, lifting the left arm, inhale, exhale, bring the left hand down to the chair, reach with the right arm, inhale, and exhale, inhale, and exhale, and just do that as many times as you want. Make sure I get all the things. Okay, eagle arms might be another one. So maybe once they're seated, we might take the right arm underneath the left, press the elbows all away from the heart. And you might even bring some spinal movement into this. So inhaling, lifting the elbows, exhaling, rounding through the spine. So that's another little exercise you can do seated in a chair. Of course, do the other side, the left on the bottom. Shoulder mandala. So the shoulder mandala, we would start off with eagle arms, and then let's say the left is on the bottom, the right is on top. We would extend that right arm, and we would take the left arm and bring it so that it's on the forearm. It's between the elbow and between the wrist, and that left palm is facing towards us. We're just going to slowly draw that right arm closer to the body. You should feel a good stretch in the right shoulder, in the deltoid as well. And then here, you would stay here for maybe 3 to 5 breaths, whatever you want to do. And then take that right hand to the right shoulder blade. Use the left hand to press the elbow towards the sky. And then maybe take that left hand and reach it back. Now if you have a strap is always nice to have here, but you can, and if you can reach, you would grasp the fingers. If you can't, you would just use a strap and wiggle the fingers to pull the strap nice and taut. So here's a nice shoulder opener. And then release, give the shoulders a roll, and then do that on the other side. So left arm on top, straighten out the left arm, slide the right arm, pull that left arm in, feel it in the deltoid, that right hand, reach it back behind, or maybe use a strap. A few breaths here, release, give the shoulders a roll. So that's the shoulder mandala. Shoulder shrugs, you know, inhale, exhale. This helps to release any tension, especially people who are, you know, busy on computers and holding a lot of tension and stress. Shoulder circles, you know, you might, circle them back. You might circle them forward. You might alternate, you know, just play with that however you want. One of the things too for carpal tunnel, you know, people on computers and things, they have carpal tunnel. So bringing the palms down, the fingers pointed towards the body, this is a really good stretch for that. You could do that with blocks in front of you. Okay. Oh, okay. So if you do have a strap, you could do strap lifts. So this is, so the arms are out in front, kind of like 60 degree or 45 degree. I'm not very good at proportions, percentages. So we would inhale the arms up, exhale the arms back. Again, everyone's range of motion is going to be different, but inhale up and exhale down. And maybe you just want to have it simple like that, to where it's inhale, exhale. Now, if you have people who have more range of motion, you might inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So you can kind of figure out what's good for your students. You can also do side bends. So with the strap, you might inhale, exhale, exhale, that kind of thing. Tapping body parts to activate the lymphatic system. So actually tapping and slapping, you know, like I've done this with my chair yoga people lots of times. They love it. They always start to giggle. I don't know why. You know, so we would do one leg, then we do the other leg. You know, we come around to the kidneys and adrenal glands, you know, get those, activate the sides of the body, the belly, do the little Tarzan chest. They love that too. You know, the shoulders, break up the lactic acid here, and arms. You really want to get into the armpits. You know, we've got a lot of lymph nodes and breast tissue here that, you know, we really want to move the things in here that might be stagnant. You know, doing the other arm, really getting into those lymph nodes here. Sides and back, you know, just as much tapping as possible is really good for the lymphatic system. Strap under the leg or the knee. You know, you can inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. This is more for people who need those more minute, small things, right? But you can also put the strap, or maybe even a loop around the foot, and make circles. So here now we're affecting the hip joint, the acetabulum, and we're getting movement here. And we want to circle back in the opposite direction. And I always call this preventative hip replacement surgery. So, you know, like if you don't use it, you lose it. So we really want to keep that range of motion here and have movement. So of course you want to do that on the other side too. Dynamic cactus arms. Cross leg twist. Okay. So cactus arms, you know, here, this might be in the beginning too, where you want to warm up. So inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Doesn't take any props, really simple. You can even start to, if your students are ready for it, bring the knee towards the elbow, inhale center, exhale cross. So this is a bilateral movement. Bilateral movements when we're crossing over left elbow with right knee. This is making the activates both hemispheres of the brain, you know, increasing that connection between mind and brain, or mind and body and brain, you know, and you would just move at the pace of your own breath there. Cross-legged, you know, you can cross and come into a spinal twist, but the cross-legged isn't necessarily required. You can easily just inhale the arms up, exhale, turn to the right, maybe bring that right hand towards the right hand on the chair, sorry, and the left hand maybe on the outside of that right thigh, and gazing over that right shoulder. And maybe staying there for, you know, 3 to 5 breaths. And then inhale, arms come up. Exhale to the left hand finds the back of that chair, right hand finds the outside of that left leg. We're gazing over the left shoulder for 3 to 5 breaths. Now, you can make it static where you're just one side for 3 to 5 breaths and then the other, or you can maybe make it move. So exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, you know, and just move dynamically with the breath. You can kind of feel it out. But yeah, if you wanted to cross the legs, you would just, you know, cross the legs and twist. You know, that would be more for a static, for staying on one side for 3 to 5 breaths, and then uncross the legs and do the opposite side for 3 to 5 breaths. Okay. Activating chi. So chi, prana, ki, ka, whatever you want to call it. In Chinese medicine, it's chi. In India yogic philosophy, it's prana. In Reiki in Japan, it's ki. And in Egypt, it's ka. But it all means the same thing. It's life force energy. And so we usually bring the hands together and activate. I always call this Mr. Miyagi hands. But we kind of get that life force energy here. And then we might place it on a knee. And just send loving thoughts, feeling that energy and that heat. You know, and then staying there for a few breaths. And then activating it again, warming up those hands. And then doing the other knee. You know, sending loving thoughts, loving energy, and the warmth. And we might do that with our heart. We might do that to our ears. I always try to do it with the eyes because I feel like the eyes are overstimulated with all the screens today, whether it's laptops, iPads, cell phones, computers, TVs, you know. So, you know, and the lights of, you know, the lights, the fluorescent lights, the street lights, the traffic lights, the car lights, you know, headlights. So all of that stimulation, you know, definitely activate the chi and prana and whatnot, and give your eyes some love. You can always do the ears, you can do the throat, you know, especially like if someone has an injury, they may want to do a certain hip or whatnot, and you can tell them, okay, we're just going to do this, and you can do the parts on your body that need it most, because everybody's might be different. Okay, so seated twist, we kind of went over those. Heart opener, so placing the hands on the back of the chair. We're going to draw the shoulders and elbows back towards each other. Lift the chin, really open through the chest. And we might be here for 3 to 5 breaths. Just really opening up through the chest. What we did earlier for sciatica, this is what's called a seated pigeon, you know, and you know, I've even had people who can't reach the blocks, so, you know, telling them just to even come here and hang out and breathe might be where they're at. You know, if you want to come down to the floor or the blocks, but a lot of times people who are practicing chair yoga, this is where they're at. Forward fold, you can always do a seated forward fold. Maybe have them sit back and spread the legs a little bit. Inhale and exhale. And again, if they need blocks here, maybe they have the box, maybe they come all the way down, but you know, if we can get them to relax the head and the neck and the jaw, that's ideal. So seated forward fold. You can do a wide leg forward fold if you want to have them widen the legs out even more. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, maybe come down with the blocks, release the head, give it a shake, you know, whatever feels good. We can do a bound angle. You know, bound angle is when we bring the soles of the feet together, but we can do that with blocks. So if we have them bring the blocks there and then bring the soles of the feet together, here we have a modified bound angle pose now. And if it feels good to maybe press the hands onto the quadriceps, and maybe not necessarily the knee joint, but maybe on the quadriceps, they get a little extra stretch. Maybe that feels good. Maybe 3 to 5 breaths there. We can practice knee to chest. Again, if they need to use the strap, they may do, you know, exhale, inhale, exhale. If they don't need the strap, maybe it's inhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. This is going to be really good for people who have Vata dosha in Ayurveda, or people who hold a lot of air in their body, you know, bringing the knees in. People who have constipation or gas, those kinds of things. This is, you know, also can be known as wind relieving pose, so it's going to help to move air out. Practicing just lifting the legs. So, you know, you might do it with the breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Or you might have them bring up the leg and hold for 3 breaths. And then have them bring it down, and then do the other one, you know. You can also have them hold onto the chair and start to practice bringing both up. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And then maybe hold and breathe. You know, it's a practice, and you'll gauge what your people can do and what they can't. They might laugh at you on some things, and you'll be like, okay, well, we'll just move on, skip to the next thing, no big deal. Seated malasana, you know, I would recommend using blocks on this one if you can. But, you know, having that like kind of squat sensation, maybe even taking the blocks up a little taller just to get the knees up a little higher. So now we have a seated yogi squat. Thread the needle is a little difficult for some people. Might be good to have a blanket or a bolster, but you know, we're leaning forward, and then we're going to take that left arm across the lap, and we're going to reach, you know, or kind of bend to the side. Now you can bring the hand here on the knee, or maybe you want to take that right hand behind you, you know, so this would be a seated thread the needle. But again, sometimes even that, I've even noticed like trying to just do the side, you know, can be hard. This is another one too, just to kind of open up the side body, get a little twist. And you might even do that here with, you know, the seated pigeon. You could bring the elbow, but a lot of times you'll see people like this, and maybe that's where they're at. And of course, you want people to go to wherever they're at, their edge. Goddess pose can be done seated. And here we might do, so this is goddess. The legs are out, bent, knees are bent, toes are pointed out, cactus the arms, and we could even bring that dynamic and then bring in the lion's breath. Stick the spine all the way out. My people really get a kick on this one. Inhale and exhale. You know, and when you first teach people this, they're always like, they feel a little silly at first, you know, because it does feel silly at first, but it's really good for us. So, okay, goddess pose twist. So, you know, goddess pose and then a twist with the exhaling to one side, inhale, and you can bring in that lion's breath, stick the tongue out. Inhale, center. You know, so you can make it like this, or you can, so moving with the breath, or you can hold to one side for like 3 breaths, and then do the other side for 3 breaths, or you could move with the breath. arm lifts with the block. Having the block out in front of you. Inhale to about 45, 60 degrees, whatever. And then all the way up over the head, you know, for a few breaths here, a few breaths here, a few breaths out in front of you, a few breaths here, a few breaths here. And then maybe exhaling all the way down, giving the shoulders a roll, you know. Of course, it would take you a lot longer to go through that, you know, but that's another one that you can do. With the strap, maybe when you're making those circles for the hip joint, you know, you might have them, you know, take it to one side, you know, like open up, have them twist, and then maybe take it and open it out to the side, like so, you know, opening the hip. So there's a couple different things you can do there. Now getting into gate pose. Now we're getting into a little bit more movement and challenge. Gate pose would be taking one leg out to the side. Hopefully you can see me here. Yeah. Okay, and slide. My left leg is out here, so I'm going to slide my left hand down the left leg, and I'm going to reach with the right arm, opening up the right side body. And then I'm going to take it and bring the right hand to a block, sweep the left arm, opening up the left side body. And then I would do that on the other side. I would take out that right leg to the side, slide the right hand down, open up the left side, and then take that left hand to the block and sweep the right arm. So of course you can stay in those things for 3 to 5 breaths. I'm just moving through them so you can see all the different options you can do in a chair. Warrior 2 can be done. So if you take the left leg, bend it, take it off to the side, stack that knee on top of that ankle, align it with the middle toe, take the right leg out behind you, foot is a 45-degree angle, inner rotation on the right thigh, and then take the arms out. We're doing a warrior 2 in a chair. And of course, if you can do a warrior 2 in a chair, you can do a reverse warrior. You can do extended side angle. Now pyramid, or not pyramid, but triangle pose, I'll show you doing, we'll stand with the chair. There's some poses that you can do standing with the chair. We'll do those next, but okay. So and of course you want to do the other side, of course. Do your warrior 2. Do your reverse warrior. Do your extended side angle. So dynamic bridge, we place the hands on the sides of the chair, and then inhale, lift the pelvis. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, come down. So you can move dynamically, or you can bring them into the pose and have them hold it for 3 to 5 breaths. That's a bridge. And then chair pose. That one's easy. Okay. Chair pose, we would, of course, stand up and then exhale like we're going to sit down in the chair. And of course, it's there if they need it, but we want to hover over the seat so that we're getting that Utkatasana pose without actually sitting. Okay, so now, since we're standing now, we'll do some of those poses. So for triangle pose, I would have them set up like a standing warrior 2 and then straighten that knee and bring the hand to the chair and then dial the heart towards the sky, Plug the fingers towards the ceiling, dial the heart, yeah, breathe. Maybe gazing up the right open palm. So this is, the triangle pose with the chair. And of course you'd want to make sure you do it on the other side. For a few breaths and whatnot. You can do lunges. So placing that left foot in front of the chair, bending the left knee, placing the hands on the chairs, extending the right leg behind you. Here we've got a runner's lunge. The other side. Runner's lunge. And then maybe bring that left foot up a little close. Right foot is in front of the chair. And we'll plant the left foot, bend the right knee, and come into a warrior one. Now here you have the chair right in front of them so that if they need to hold onto it, they can. So that's warrior one, triangle, lunges. We can do a downward dog, putting the hands on the seat of the chair and then walking the feet back. I'm going to take this out so I can see what I'm doing. Walk the feet back, let the head hang, so this is good for the cervical spine. You're getting some of the benefits of that downward dog, but without weight bearing anything. I feel a release in the thoracic spine, cervical spine, really good. You can also have them walk up and maybe do a forward fold, holding onto the chair. I'm just going to check my list, make sure I'm getting everything in here. Now we might, oh yeah, so warrior three's in another one too, so holding onto the chair and then lifting a leg. There's your warrior three. Doing the other side. Make sure I get all the ones with the chair facing this way before we turn it around. If you notice that seated, doing those circles with the strap is hard to do while they're in the chair, you can always have them stand, holding on to the chair, maybe making a loop around that foot, and do it standing. Maybe that's easier, that kind of thing. Also, tree pose. Have them hold on to the chair, and then bring that foot in as a kickstand, or the inner calf, or even the inner thigh. But they have that chair to hold on to. And then you can even say, hold on to the chair with one hand and one hand on the heart, to practice. Or maybe they want to start getting courageous enough to letting go of the chair, and practicing this way. And you can do that with dancer too, if you want to teach them dancer pose, holding onto the chair with one hand. If you wanted to do eagle or teach eagle, maybe you start to work on crossing the leg over and squatting, but holding onto the chair. Mountain pose, you can talk about how we stand, checking in with the feet, micro bending at the knees. Notice the pelvic tilt, is it anterior, posterior, slight anterior, and then the chest and the abs and, the shoulders down, the palms facing forward, how we're standing, work with their body mechanics and body awareness of just like, how do you stand? Do you often dip into a hip or do you stand properly? So you can work with Tadasana here. Let's see, we've done that, Oh yeah. Let's actually move the chair back around. We talked about forward fold. We talked about a downward dog. a standing cobra. Maybe we're in downward dog and then we come up, you know, here's a cobra or an upward dog. If they can handle this. This might be a little too much right there for some, but this is a nice back bend that people can utilize the chair with. Having them focus on walking the feet out and then walking the feet in. This might just be a simple little minute thing that some people need. And then a plank, you know, we would almost go into that back bend, that feels good, but like more focused on strengthening. So we're really strengthening through the core and the arms. Chair. Okay. Now, a lot of times people can't get down on the floor. That's why they're at chair yoga. But let's say there are some people who can. If they can get down on the floor, and I always say you've got the chair, so if you can get down on the floor, you can use the chair to get back up. And I even show them like, okay, coming down. You might even cushion the knee with a blanket. Take your time, work your way down, okay? And then to come back up, we're gonna come into those knees, 1 foot at a time, you know, like, so people who do struggle with that, the chair sometimes can be an aid, but even, I've taught classes where even with the chair, they don't wanna mess with any floor stuff. But let's say your people do wanna mess with the floor stuff, you can end with the legs up the wall. Shavasana, have them put the legs up on the chair, maybe arms up to the sides, and there you go. You can even do, before you go into your legs up the wall Shavasana, you could have them practice bringing the feet up for the heart, some of that, you know, and then end here in a Shavasana. But that's not always an option. Now, I will say this, not a lot of times we get the opportunity to do this one with a chair crowd, but lining up for Warrior 2, bringing the hand to the chair, we can come into a half moon. And maybe this is just for our own personal practice to help us work on half moon, but the chair can be helpful for that pose too. Okay. So, let's say they don't want to get down on the floor. How I end with Shavasana with a chair, I might have them, you know, bring blocks underneath the feet. I might even have them hug a bolster, you know, or lift it so that the head can rest on it. Or, you know, sometimes we don't have bolsters in places that I go. So, and if we don't have blocks, I just might have them seated and close off the eyes. I might walk them through some progressive muscle relaxation, so like having them tighten things and then relaxing them. Or I might just have them move with their awareness. Start at your right foot, goes to your left foot. Watch the energy move up through the ankles, through the legs, all the way, you know, like take them through kind of a body awareness, guided meditation. We might do some breath work, seated breath work. And then once I'm done with the breath work or the guided meditation, I allow a short, quiet period. So just for them to kind of zone out, maybe that's 3 to 5 minutes. And then I'll say, okay, slowly come back to your fingers and toes, wiggle your fingers and toes. When you're ready to open up your eyes, bring the hands to the center. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste. You know, like, so that's chair yoga. Any questions?
No, I liked it, actually. I've never been to a chair yoga.
Really? Yeah. And it always surprised me, like, the stuff you can actually do. Like, I don't think people really know how much you can really do just in a chair. Sometimes people are like, what, Warrior 2? You can do Warrior 2? Like, yeah,
Like, even like if I'm sick, you know, and I don't want to do like really like get down on the floor and really work at it, like balancing or whatever, but I still need to like do movement and stretch.
Yeah.
Like I could see
Because you don't have a lot of energy. You want to kind of save your energy, but you need the movement, kind of preserving the energy.
Yeah.
And that's chair yoga.